All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It's 6:31. My name is Scott Ruther. I am the Chief Strategic Officer at T3 Live. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Just getting back in the saddle. It was down in Florida. You guys, thanks for all the well wishes. You guys followed along the race. Race went over well. Make a long story short, no injuries. When you're 51, that's big. Everyone finished. We won the Masters division. Ran for about 20 hours. Got a good sweat out. Definitely cleared some things in the mind, worked some things out, which is the reason why we do it, right? When you're on the run, you're thinking clearly, you're thinking about your family, your life, your trading, this and that, and hopefully you come back in a good mood, and I did, so that's good. Mission accomplished. But listen, when you're away, and you're not trading, you have to sacrifice a little bit. Everything comes with a little bit of a cost. And although, if you remember last week, we were talking about things to position on with options. Whenever you're in your seat, you could always do things a lot better than from the road or from the marshland. I was sitting there, in Tampa in this crazy park with marsh and alligators. No alligators, but there could have been. There was there were rivers and, this and that. But at any which way, I think a lot of people are sending some, good tweets and good emails because we did situate very well for a move in the small caps. Everybody was talking about the IWMs getting to a certain area, or the XBI, which was the bios, and gold, and some of those things worked out very well, for my options, and hopefully they worked out for you. Some things that didn't work out so well was the Tesla event, but thank goodness it went prior, and I only had options there, so you lose your premium paid. And then there was a few one-offs that have been working, but ultimately, when you get big moves like we saw, you look back about where you own some things from and how much you could have made, and although that's not very productive, you could learn from it. So anyway, what do we do? We're entering right now. It's December 4th. The new flows powered the IWM higher, some XBI higher, and the Magnificent Seven took a little bit of a break. Which again, if you use the 8-day moving average, it's so much better than listening to the idiots on TV. The economist is still bearish, and strategists are coming out with numbers, and everyone's talking about, what's going to happen next year. The bottom line is you look for the flows, you look for the action, and you measure it, and you figure out how you could participate, what time frame you could participate on, and hopefully you have multiple. You look here at the SPYs. I remember right when I was leaving, I'm like, can't get too bearish if we hold 453.50, and that was after this day. This was the day that everybody said the market's done, right? S&P's over, we're overbought, time for a big corrective phase, 2 to 3%, this or that, and then ultimately, you had a little red dog reversal, and we held the 8-day, which we've been above pretty much since this rally really powered and ignited in November. So again, this held the 8-day, and then all of a sudden, boom, pretty much a matched high from the summer. So question is what this, now, and for me, what I got to do is I got to get back in a rhythm with the tape. Traders make money being in a rhythm with the market, buying a dip, selling some strength, adding at levels, having hedges, different sectors, different stocks. And for me, since I had to leave and not be in my desk Thursday or Friday and have a bunch of options, I did some things from the road. So a down open like this for me is pretty good because I get to figure out, where do I want to live? How, where the flows are going to go this week. The Qs are down $1.50, the SPYs are down $1.40. The small caps are getting a little bit more follow through, up another dollar. I'm maxed out on a bunch of my options. They're all up a few 100% for the small caps. At this point, we'll get into all of this, but you have a different kind of rotational flow right here. The usual stocks that were making higher highs, got hit last week. On the first day of the pullback, I bought a little options on Meta, and all of a sudden I see Meta down like $12. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't buy a few thousand shares of the stock. I bought, 340 calls, and that's not going to work. Sometimes you have to do a few things that just don't work, and then other things make up for it. So anyway, here's the SPYs, 457.63. So let's get these things lower. So 457.63. The oscillator went out of plus 60 because the small caps, the K area, all those things were now very overbought. SPYs don't look that overbought. It looks like it's been in the same range for a while here. So we'll see. Does what's this high here? This is 456.76. So the question is, does this hold, or does all of a sudden this green day get matched with the red day, which could show you a little bit of a changing guard for the week. The what's it called? We're getting the jobs data is going to be Friday, so we don't have a whole lot between now and Friday. And then next week you have the CPI, you have the FOMC, you have a lot of things. So we could get a choppy to a little bit of a downside. We'll see. But ultimately, does this 8-day continue to hold? Does this active sequence that made so many people a lot of money stay intact? And where do the flows go? Seems like the chunky. I feel a little chunky after Saturday and Sunday, and after the race was over. We had some steaks with some ribs and had a few, remember I didn't drink beer for 3 weeks, had a few extra beers. So I'm feeling a little chunky, but the chunky money definitely has been kind of made, and now maybe you can make some cash flow as we situate to see what we're going to have going into year end. You look at the Qs. Qs did nothing that last week. Qs, you remember this little, that little spike high that, seemed like we could use a rest. All of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, they sold the strength again. It seems like they keep selling strength. And then, now we're chopping around this 8-day, which sometimes leads to downside action. You could basically say, hey, can't get too bearish holding this gap, or here's your prior. This was 387. This was 387. So this still did a whole lot of nothing. So if you feel like you missed out on the Qs, you didn't miss out on the Qs. You really didn't miss out much on the SPYs. What you did miss out on is, if you remember, I talked about this 185 as my spot for January, and we were buying, options for December 8th, 12/15, and for January, and boom, it happened. Okay, there was a lot of money to be made, in the IWMs. This was really the spot, that gap up. Remember pre-CPI, whenever we did that, and now. Although this seems like a really big move, which it was, and there was really good money there, and I'm happy that a lot of you guys caught that. Congratulations. Thank goodness I did also. Today's not your day to buy. Right now the IWMs are 186.11. Okay, that's above 185. Big candle. So at least if you went long the IWM because of the size and the strength, you're getting paid. And what do I do when I'm long the IWM into follow through? You trim and trail. You trim it to strength so you could buy a dip and you can net money, you could add up and get a paycheck. That's what we do. But overall, you look at the weekly chart, and all it did is get back into this, the range, the mid end of the range. In July, and this was before rates peaked and inflation peaked around that. It would look like it was ready to break out above 199. So they broke it down. So don't be just cost averaging shorts in the small caps because it's worked for 3 years. Anyway, this could fill the rest of this quadrant, and then maybe next year it still does. It finally breaks out of the channel and sees more upside. So although you might feel like, I maxed out my call spread of 182. I bought the one. I don't even have it up right now, but. And I also trimmed IWM calls from the road after my second thing at around 11:30 because I just wanted to book some more money. But bottom line is, it's just there's a quadrant to be filled, and then if this is going to take out this channel, there's still a lot more trades in front of you. So anyway, they had to do a little bit of an overthrow to get back in here. So that worked out well. XPI worked out well also. XPI, you go to the daily chart. I'm still in straight calls there. I mentioned we can get back to the 200-day, by the first week of January with the January effect. And we also started buying them prior just in case. So sometimes you never know the speed it's going to happen. But as long as if you think about the direction and you play for the direction, you can be pleasantly surprised. And this was great. I'm going to probably trim some into this. And I had the LABU calls, which, these things I was talking about it getting to the 200-day also. We were buying the $4 calls, 3 different strikes for like 18 cents, 11 cents, 9 cents. And I was selling some from the road at like 29 cents, so that helped. So a little, anyway, make moves, little things. Some trades, I'll tell you, Pfizer didn't work. Pfizer, that was horrible. Pfizer, it's Friday morning, I'm trying to figure out my positions. There are racers all around me. Some things are looking good. And then I see something on my phone, Pfizer discontinues the oral, pill for weight loss. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, why couldn't that be good news and be up $1? And then my options go from 40 cents to $1.20. Wouldn't that be fun before going out on your run? Instead, it wasn't. And that happened. But guess what? I wasn't in 5,000 shares of Pfizer or 10,000 or 20,000. I had a certain amount of calls, and they became a zero, and it didn't work. Risk is premium paid. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But this has been a horrible stock all year, trending lower. I feel like every time I tried to buy some options a few weeks out thinking money would rotate, it didn't work. All right, it is what it is. So let's go real quickly to the Mag 7, just see where we are on December 4th and what kind of opportunities it could have. So basically Meta is in a bit of a corrective phase, right? I played this really well. Remember we were talking about buying here, I bought here, and I do think, I don't remember what day I got out of it though. It might have been even this day. And then I played it again. I remember we were buying the dip, and I sold some into strength there. And then on this maybe on this day, I'm like, you know what, let me go out a week and buy the 340s. And then I saw like this candlestick and just didn't manage it. And now all of a sudden we're coming into the 50-day. So this, the options I had probably won't work, but it doesn't matter. But now that I'm back, this is what? This is 320.76. So the question is, in my mind, are these things going to be buyable? Are they going to get a markup into year end, or did these things peak and money's already rotating for the first quarter next year, and these are going to be a frustrating, no type of trade? I don't know, but Meta right now is at 322.24, so right now above this 320. It broke the 8-day with some authority, took back this candle. That was your day to get out of the way and take a loss. If you thought this was going to be a bull flag and continue to the upside, this day said get out if you're an active trader. And now we'll see, hey, 50-day moving averages are sometimes a good buy. Remember I said if you sell the 8-day, you could test the 50-day. So we'll see. This might be a good opportunity this week. So we'll see. Maybe today, Red Dog comes back, could buy a dip. It goes from red to green. Maybe. You got to look for a signal. What's a signal? Futures go lower, Qs go lower, Meta stops going down. It gives you a positive divergence. You buy versus a level, then maybe you make money. So there could be good opportunities into that spot for Meta. Microsoft has been the best name out there also. Here, opened above a prior high. This 383, couldn't hold it, and now it broke the 8-day. So this was your prior high, 366. So this could be the 21-day might be, what's it called? An opportunity. If it can even get there, what's the slow here? The slow is 371. So 371 for Microsoft. So 371 is right here. You don't want to get involved in something too fast if the trade changes, but it's something to watch. Microsoft's down 2. I'm not in any of these things. I guess that's one positive that not being here. I was on the road is, I didn't reposition to any of these names yet. And maybe there won't be, maybe it won't make sense to do that, but it's made sense all year. So we'll see. Here's Microsoft. It's down $2 too. So Microsoft and Meta are both above Friday's low. So maybe we could buy verse Friday's low for it to go red to green, and then all of a sudden maybe the IWMs rest a little bit, the banks rest a little bit, and money rotates back into what led all year or not. Just if then this, etc. So anyway, this 366 to 371 is a pretty big area. If this doesn't hold, okay, this could be a breakout failure. And then if Meta can make it to the 50-day, maybe Microsoft. I'm just saying, maybe. But if you sold the 8-day, you could try the 21-day, and we might be able to try the 50-day. What's interesting is I looked at Apple. Apple actually looks a little bit better because it's so weighted in all the indices, and it was not where the action was. The action was in Apple up until the summer high, and although you had money to be made in Apple here, which I made really good money also, 177-ish when it broke this descending channel. Now this looks a little bit different. Why does Apple look different? You think these? Okay, I just showed you Microsoft. I just showed you Meta. Meta is testing the 50-day. That means it's been correcting. Microsoft is only down at the 21-day. Here, this has been playing with just the 8-day, and this didn't get back to a prior high. So maybe this is where you could get some relative strength. And if this starts to take out this spot, I don't know what the narrative around it'll be. Maybe it's just because you had new flows come in, and there's no sellers, so no one wants to take profits in Apple and pay taxes on it in April. But this could be something that is a good focus into year end if the buyback's on, it's getting positioned and the new flows come in, Apple held in better. So in my mind, I'm going to look at that a little closer than some other names. That's how I do my business. That's how little things. Or are we really going to hit in tech, and is Apple going to play catch up to the ones that are going lower? So where's the push pull? Anyway, so this looks better than the other two. Tesla is a real pain in the ass. I'm going to say ass. Anyway, well, before leaving, if you remember, we made really good money on this day in the stock. Okay, and then because I have no control of stops in the stock when I'm on running in the jungle, I just had options on. Okay, for Friday, didn't work, and for this Friday, and here it came back into the zone. It's been a choppy mess. I'm not going to get into Elon's antics with a FUC, the advertisers versus Disney, this, that. He seemed like he was a little out there on that interview, but it's good to see him tell it like it is. But, there's some things you could say and not say. I don't know. I'm not going to judge what happened. All I know is this didn't work. You look at the candlestick. This got above 247. Did it hold it if you were there? Did it get above and stay above? No, they sold strength. So if you sold strength and got out of the stock when it went back below 247, you made your money on most of your shares and you got stopped out on a different part of the tier. Then it came in, and now, I don't know. It's I guess it's very noisy in here now. Just again, failed at the downtrend line. Red dog reversal sell. It did come off lows on Friday if you played it. I didn't play it from the road. It's down a little less than other things. So hey, maybe Tesla is an opportunity today versus whatever this area was. This was an important area a week ago, and it became an important area on Friday. There is some news that their sales are slumping in China, so I don't know. Just be careful. But all in all, Tesla's not been the place to be for the majority of the year. We like when Tesla leads. We like when there's power, when follow through. That's been far and few between, And this day was great, and this day said, maybe it's gonna either rest or fail, and this day said failure. Now you're back into this, little channel here, I guess. And maybe next time it does it, maybe it doesn't. So we'll see. It's not going to be my over focus. What else, real quickly before what did Amazon do? I didn't even look at Amazon. Oh, okay. Amazon's hanging in there, right? Amazon's still above the 8-day, like Apple, not like Meta's that's testing the 50-day. So this maybe this could be something to focus on heading into the last few weeks of December. Plus it's Christmas time, right? So and you saw over Thanksgiving those sales were pretty decent, or it seemed pretty decent. So maybe this is something that you could focus on. So that's what you do. On a Monday, you look at what's what, and that's what Amazon looks like. And then in chip land, Nvidia's been for sale since earnings. So the question is it really just rebuilding out of play, or is it kind of cooked for a little bit? So far, it's been pretty cooked, and now at this point, but if you look at the chart, this is all it's really done is come to the 50-day after not being able to get above 505. It's still in this upper channel. It's still closer to its all-time high, where a lot of stocks didn't get back to its all-time high. So it's still deemed one of the stronger ones. It did had a little strength on Friday, so maybe you can go back to it. This is 460. Here's the 50-day. This low is 461.87. I have to, I'm doing some of my work with you guys because I wasn't here. 461.57, right? Where's Nvidia today? Nvidia this morning is down 465. So interesting, So it's above. So all these tech names that I just went through are all still above Friday's low. So today you may be able to look and buy versus those lows, or those lows don't hold and they really want to shake some things up a little bit more in tech this week. We'll see. But either which way, all in all, still nice channel. From the low end to the high end happened fast. The earnings weren't enough, and then you talk about some of the delays in China and this and that. It should be resting. It shouldn't be blockbusters right now. And you know what? Let this rest. Well, hopefully you made some money in the small caps, the bios, maybe some banks. And we'll see. Maybe you made money in Bitcoin. Maybe you made money in gold. Remember before leaving, we put gold on as a power play. Wow, what a move, right? Gold took out this 186, took out 189, took out 191. and it's been above the 8-day with a beautiful active sequence. Then if you go to remember I showed you guys the monthly chart, the cup and handle. Gold looks pretty constructive for those with an asset allocation program for 2021, maybe allocate more. So a lot of things happening. You just got to be prepared. You got to get up. You got to work in your process. You got to be mentally strong. There are a lot of things you got to do to execute. You can't just know the X's and O's. You got to work your process on top of it. And then you have to deal with the psychological factors of selling things too early, maybe not following your plan, and all these things. It's not all sunshines and rainbows out there, right? Got to keep moving forward. Who said that? I don't know. Anyway, I was running so late I couldn't even get my Dunkin' Donuts, and this isn't a beer, it's water. So this will be an interesting week in my humble opinion. You just had the meaty move in the small cap, so it's hard to allocate a lot of money there. If you made good money in your options, congratulations. If you made good money in the LABU options, congratulations. XBI options, congratulations. If you're still in Square, remember Square? Holy cow. Look at the monthly. It looks like a disaster, but Square on the daily and the weekly, wow. Remember I told you can get to the 200-day? Well, it's been working higher. Nice active sequence. This was probably one of my biggest trades for November, a name that I haven't touched in 2 years, and all of a sudden you had a gap and go, and it turned into a really nice piece of business, and it's been trending above the 8-day with dips buyable. So congratulations to you guys if you're still in it. I still have some leftover options. But that's, again, the beauty of the business is next. What is next? Where's the flows going? What's the next great active sequence? Put yesterday behind you. Look at what's going on for today and tomorrow, and then stay with it as long as the market pays you to stay with it. If you could do it on multiple time frames, you know what? You could save for retirement, you could save for college, you could save for whatever, and you can make cash flows and get a check every monthly and quarterly, and some are better than others. This year was very difficult at times, and if you got worn out, you didn't get some of the nice little areas where you could have really made good money and there was follow through. So just, again, it's December. Let's see how the rest of this month goes. Let's get situated for 2024. Let's be positive. My grandma used to say, if a check could solve your problems, you don't have any problems, which is true. As long as you have your health and you're feeling good, you could connect the dots in other ways and figure it out. And I'm not here to preach right now. It's a little early in the morning. It is a Monday, and I'm just back, and I'm just going to situate myself and get back in the saddle and, and just do what we got to do. We all got to do what we got to do, right? That's what we do as adults. We try and teach our kids, right? Control what you can control and, keep making progress. You don't have to be perfect, to feel good. You just have to make progress. To make progress, you feel good. Once you feel good, you execute clearly. Once you execute clearly, you're heading in the right direction. Thanks for tuning in. I have a lot to do. I'm not going away this month. My son just made varsity basketball as a freshman. One of the things is you're not allowed to go away, between that and lacrosse. So there's not going to be much times when I'm going away for a few days because, in high school sports, if you play basketball and lacrosse, they play through the holiday and they're not allowed to take off. So, good thing is I'll stay in rhythm and hopefully that'll, mean some more consistency for you guys. Anyway, cheers. Happy Monday. Get on track. Keep making progress, and hopefully you had a great few weeks. And if you didn't, you still have a bunch of weeks left. And look ahead, not behind. Just learn from looking behind. Later, guys.